Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's edition of the Xfinity Rewind Show, we're looking back at today's 6th annual Rock and Roll Tequila 170, presented by Amethyst Beverage. 75 laps, 169.35 miles around the 2.2 mile Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Being a road course race, there were a lot more incidents than cautions on the day. Given most of it just warranted local yellows. That being said, there were 6 cautions on the day, 6 full course cautions, for a total of 18 laps in this race. First one came very early. Lap number 1 is the 55 car of Dylan Murcott. Got off in turn number 4, got into the tires, could not continue, so that warranted a full course caution. That was the only incident that required a full course caution in Stage 1, which ended at lap 20. Your Stage 1 winner was Justin Allgaier. Stage number 2, we had one full course caution, and that was at lap 31 for fluid on the track from the 39 of Ryan Sieg. Stage 2 ended at lap 42. Austin Cindric took the stage victory in stage number 2. 2 incidents requiring full course cautions in stage number 3. First one at lap 61 when the 9 car of Tyler Reddick spun into turn number 4 after blowing his right rear tire. He had gotten in a little bit of a log jam in coming to the start-finish line the previous lap and had gotten run into from behind by, I believe it was Daniel Hemrick. That caused a tire rub. A few corners later, blows the tire, can't control it, spins into turn number 4. Caution. Last caution on the day, lap 68 for fluid on the track from the 15 car of Catherine Legg in turn number 10. That would be the final full course caution of the day right at the end of the race. Set up about a 5-lap shootout at the end of the race where we got some really exciting racing for the win between Justin Allgaier and Austin Cindric. Lap leaders on the day, Austin Cindric far and above led the most laps today with 59 of the 75 laps going to Austin Cindric. 8 laps went to Justin Allgaier, 7 went to Andy Lally, and 1 lap led by Christopher Bell. Alright, so let's get into your results. Justin Allgaier would be your winner on the day. I know we talked about Austin Cindric having the most laps led. Fantastic battle at the end of the race. Fresh tires for Justin Allgaier. He was able to outduel Austin Cindric and take the victory in this race, stealing that first Xfinity win away from Austin Cindric. Daniel Hemrick with another strong finish in the 3rd position. Matt Tifft and Ryan Truex rounding out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer. Strong run for Spencer Gallagher in 8th. Alex LeBay also with a strong run in 9th. And Ryan Reed rounded out the top 10. 11th through 20th, we see Christopher Bell down here in 11th. He was running stronger than this at the end of the race. Then he gets turned on a late restart by Elliott Sadler. 11th was the best he could get back to at the end of the race. Brendan Gaughan in the 3 car this week for RCR came home with a respectable 12th place finish after getting spun at one point in the middle of the race. Kyle Benjamin in the 18 this week for Joe Gibbs Racing. He came home in the 13th position. Chase Briscoe was back in the 60 this week. He was in 14th. 21st through 30th, we see Justin Marks down here. He piloted the 42 car this week for Ganassi, 22nd. Brandon Jones had a couple incidents on the day. Just a very bad day all around for Brandon Jones. Ended up getting spun 2 or 3 different times in the race. 23rd was the best that he could muster at the end of this one. Kaz Gralla also having an off day, 27th for Kaz Gralla. Catherine Legg came home in the 30th position as well after her couple of incidents. 31st through 40th, Tyler Reddick down here. We talked about his misfortune at the end of the race with the blown tire. 31st on the day for Tyler Reddick. Good thing for him that he has that win at Daytona, because this would not have been a good points day for him. And that's your results for today for the Rock and Roll Tequila 170. I am having way too much fun with that name. I should probably stop, but I'm probably not going to. Anyway, let's head over to the Media Center and we'll see what your top finishers on the day had to say after this one.
Jason and the boys did an awesome job yesterday. We felt like we made some huge gains in practice from what we've had here in the past. And, we started the race and I thought we were okay. We rolled up there to, third or something, and was able to manage that speed pretty well. And then we came in and we won that stage because some of the guys in front of us had pitted, and we were able to come to pit road and put 4 tires on there. And I got shoved off the racetrack, and I thought that was kind of the end of the day right there, to be honest with you, with everything that happened. Like, we just struggled to get the track position back that we had, and then from there, I got spun out with 10 or 11 to go, and Jason made a great call to come down pit road. Although he was swearing to me he was going to stay out, and I was whining a little bit on the radio because I knew what I was driving, and it wasn't a whole lot of fun with that many laps on tires. So made the call to come down and put 4 tires on, and that was the call. That was what kind of made the decision at the end of the race there. And I knew that we needed to get up towards the front. I knew that last restart was going to be pivotal, and it was. It turned out to be really important, and pressuring Austin. They were the class of the field today. They definitely had the best car. I could just see where he was struggling, and I tried to exploit that as much as I could and pressure him into a mistake. And luckily got a little bit of a run there and was able to get by him. And then from there was don't screw it up. I've gotten to this point, don't screw it up. And I probably slowed down about a second a lap just trying to make sure that I hit my marks and do what I needed to do. But again, the Sprint Professional Agriculture team has been spot on this year. They've done a fantastic job. We've needed these bonus points, so obviously this is a big day for us too. But also too, at the end of the year, the regular season champion, we're still pushing. I don't know that we can get to first, but still pushing to try to get to second or third there. So all in all, a great day.
And we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today, and we're just going to go right down to the cutoff line here. The biggest thing here is it's Ross Chastain has gained 9 points on Michael Annett from last week. That cutoff line continues to extend, and these guys outside the playoffs just I don't know what they've got to do at this point. It's gotten to the point where it's almost impossible for Michael Annett, Ryan Sieg, these guys down here to point their way in. They can still feasibly do it. It's still mathematically possible, but it's just getting to the point where they've got to up the performance. Michael Annett just is not running good enough week to week. Ryan Sieg is not running good enough week to week. Jeremy Clements, Alex LeBay, none of these guys are running good enough week to week that they're feasibly going to be able to point their way in. They're not running that much better than Ross Chastain week to week. In fact, Ross Chastain is outperforming every one of them week in and week out at this point. So at this point, you've got to start looking at ways to strategize yourself into a win. If you're Michael Annett, if you're Ryan Sieg, if you're Jeremy Clements, any of these guys, you've got to look for ways to somehow strategize yourself into a win if you want to make the playoffs. It's about the only way you're going to do it at this point, because none of these guys have shown the speed to be able to run consistently better than Ross Chastain recently, nor have they shown the speed to be able to win a race. None of them have run up front enough to be able to say, yes, these guys could win a race. They just haven't done it. And, as bad as it may sound, that's why they're down here. That's why they're not up here with Elliott Sadler, with Daniel Hemrick, with Cole Custer. None of those guys have wins, but they've been up front week in and week out, and they could win a race. And I'm honestly surprised none of those three have won a race yet. So if you're these guys down here, Michael Annett, Ryan Sieg, all these guys, you've got to start looking at ways to somehow strategize yourself into a win if you want to make the playoffs. And I just haven't seen it yet. I'd like to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. So we will see. Time will tell. We've got a few races left until the playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. So that's your playoff grid following the Rock and Roll Tequila 170, and I believe that will do it for us today on the Xfinity Rewind show. We had a Truck Series Rewind go up earlier for their race at Michigan earlier today, and we'll have a Cup Rewind go up tomorrow for Michigan as well as Pole Position Monday night, as always, 8 p.m. to wrap up everything from this weekend. And then we've got some big stuff coming up next weekend on RNN as ARCA returns to action next weekend. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of that going forward. Like I said, we got some big stuff next week that you will want to see. And if you haven't done it already, hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So at that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.